The Confident Stock podcast is brought to you by My Evergreen Med Spa. Located in Houston in the Woodlands, My Evergreen Med Spa brings to you the latest aesthetic treatments in the most luxurious environment. Remember, My Evergreen Med Spa, it's me time elevated. Welcome to the Confident Stock Podcast. I'm Dr. Rednam. I'm a board-certified plastic surgeon in Houston, Texas with My Houston Surgeons. Continuing with the theme of beauty, wellness, and everything that makes us feel confident, today we have jewelry designer Jill Reno. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
So Jill is not only an amazing jewelry designer, but she is an artist and a dear friend, and I'm so excited to have her on the show. So Jill, tell everybody a little bit about how it is that you became a jewelry designer. That's not something that you necessarily wake up and you're like, that's what I'm going to do.
That's true. Looking back this is kind of a funny story. When I was in fourth grade, I grew up showing horses and everything, and I made friendship bracelets in fourth grade. And I had a little tackle box that was all beautifully decorated, and I had all these different colors. So that would be like the first kind of like intro into it. But then I had a grandmother who has like the most incredible jewelry collection ever. And she tells everybody, she said, Jill used to play in my jewelry and now I play in her jewelry. So that started like when I was very young. My grandfather was a famous sculptor. In fact, his stuff is in front of Energy Stadium here in Houston, Texas.
So cool.
Not wild. I know, we can go, it's like really, really cool. And he was, Ronald Reagan had him to the White House. He was honored there for his art. In front of the Kentucky Horse Park where the Kentucky Derbies run, Penny Chinnery, who owns Secretariat, had him commission multiple life-size sculptures that he did, but his stuff is literally all over the U.S. And there's like King of Saudi Arabia is a collector, and like wild history. Yeah. So I started sculpting with him at the end of college and had so much fun. And I realized that I just had this passion for it, and I love creating with my hands. And he was such a great teacher, invaluable, like amazing teacher. So it really started with my grandfather, and it started with sculpting. And then of course I love jewelry, and then it turned into a love affair of jewelry art.
So just because I don't think the average person knows, and I don't really know this either, is for you to become that, like, did that take a lot of classes? Is that something that you just were like, okay, I had this background and I just jumped into it?
I mean, that is a really good question. I did go to art school in Mexico, in San Miguel de Allende, and I loved it. Absolutely loved Mexico. And I came back and I continued studying with him for sculpting as well. But then I studied at the Southwest School of Art and Craft, and I apprenticed under an incredible jewelry metalsmith, actually. And I started taking classes, and there was a lot of training involved in the beginning. And I'm GIA certified. I've taken, I don't know how many hours. So I'm continuing my education, and you can't learn enough. I feel like that is, nobody can take away your knowledge. So I'm hungry for more knowledge. I love educating myself on the markets, on everything going on, all the different beautiful gemstones, the cuts, the colors, the origin of these gemstones. And it's really become a passion, so.
Do you get to travel a lot doing that?
Yes.
Yeah. It's yes. I know the answer to that.
Yes. A little too much. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm traveling all the time. No, we travel a ton for it, and I go to international gem shows, but I've been down in the Tanzanite mines in Tanzania with it is really hot down there, by the way, outside of Kilimanjaro, and I've gotten to explore some incredible places and bought these gorgeous gems of Brazil and Peru and literally, Africa, all over the world. And when I would travel, I would get to find these exotic gemstones, and there's always a story behind it. So it's been fun.
Well, and I think that's just the thing is, I think you create so many unique pieces. I know that you have your staple pieces, but you don't repeat a lot of things.
No. that's true.
And I think that that means that whoever the wearer, the owner is, has this whole story that's unique to them.
It's true, because I feel like whoever ends up collecting the piece, like the story becomes about them, you know, and it's like, it's wild how, you know, if somebody comes into the studio, it's like kismet with a piece of jewelry and a person. It's like they were meant to be for this one piece. And it's just I feel really privileged. I feel really honored because I get to be a part of watching this experience. But it's a really beautiful thing. It's pretty amazing. So,
well, and I I love jewelry as well, and I think that it does. It makes you feel really happy when you find something that's beautiful. When you first started, how did that work? So, did you just make pieces like out of like your home? I mean, it's like it's just. I think it's such a niche thing. You really have to know kind of where to start with it.
Right. My story is very unusual in that, like, I started with really humble beginnings in jewelry. So like I have this famous grandfather who was like incredible. Like I learned so much, you know, through my education, through all of it. But then I was living in a duplex, working in one bedroom, living in the other, scared to pay $450 a month rent, driving my used Mazda, which nothing against Mazda, I love Mazdas. I'm just saying, like, everything was like, it was like scary to go out on my own because I was a flight attendant for a year until 9/11 happened. And I had started making jewelry during that time and it already replaced my income as a flight attendant during that first year because it just took off like crazy. And so anyways, 9/11 happened and I took a leave of absence, but I got all my flight benefits. So I got to travel the world essentially for free for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. Yep.
So you said, so you started off humbly, but then you initially were in stores, right? So different stores would pick you up.
Right. I was, yes, in the beginning, and I lots of different stores, incredible clientele, but then I started building my clientele on such a level that I did not need to be in stores anymore. So in 2012, I did kind of a flip where I was spending 80% of my time on the bottom 20% of like what was coming in income wise to the business. And I had such a high demand for couture. Everybody wanted my couture. I mean, it was like, that was what everybody really wanted. And so I did a flip where I just focused entirely on like every person was so important. And I give everybody like a lot of attention and create for them personally. And it was more of a couture experience. And it really just catapulted the company on a completely different level.
All these celebrities have started buying your pieces. How did that start happening?
It was a domino effect. So I started designing for the Hope and Faith show with Megan Fox, Kelly Ripa, and Faith Ford, and started getting a lot of different editorials. And then all of a sudden, Bobbi Brown, the makeup mogul, was buying jewelry off of photo shoots in New York. I started working with Jessica Alba, Kristen Bell, Britney Spears, Zendaya. I mean, just a lot of different names, super, super fast in all these different ways. And it really was incredible. I mean, I've done a lot for the Emmys, all different red carpet premieres, which is like a totally different life. And it's so much fun.
And this started about 14 months after you seriously got into. That is so amazing. It was just meant to be.
I pinch myself still. I'm like, it's a fun career.
That's so cool. That is so cool. And so now, do you still get to do a lot of that, or is it more focused on this part of your business?
So I have an open invitation, truly, to do that with the celebrities. It's just, I am so busy with my private clientele. And I really am just focusing on my like private clientele right now. But yes, I mean, I have pretty much an open invitation to keep designing. It's just, I've shifted gears a little bit.
Well, and again, it's like you making the choice for like what's working for you, you know, and that's just so exciting. That's so exciting. So what are you thinking? Like, what are some things you're excited about for the future for yourself?
Future. And I feel bad. I mean, I have designed recently for the Emmys. So I'm not saying I don't still do it. I'm like, I don't want to hurt celebrities' feelings who I'm like recently designed for in the last, like less than the last 6 months. No, I still do a lot of celebrity work. But in the future, you know what? The truth is I really just want people to feel their best. And jewelry is like an escape. You know, we find it and it's like an escape from day to day. Sometimes day to day is like, a little drudgery, a little hard. And jewelry is so beautiful, and it like lights up a room, and it makes you feel good. And I really find it so invigorating, like to be able to work with all these gorgeous gemstones and, have people who like meet with that gemstone and like it resonates, it speaks to them. And I feel like it's such a honor to get to do that. So I think I'm pretty happy doing what I'm doing right now.
You sound happy. You sound happy. So I want to ask you, as a professional jeweler, there's a lot right now concerning lab-grown diamonds, right?
Yeah.
They've become very, very popular,
True.
and I understand, right? It's a less expensive alternative, and you could potentially get big stones.
Right.
What is your opinion on that? Like not just from how they look, but also from like a long-term, I guess, investment.
So I know it's a touchy subject for a lot of people. I do believe there is a really great place for it, as long as there's full disclosure. I've had some situations, even in the last year, where a client has taken in a ring like 10 years, or maybe not even 10 years ago, in the last so many years, to have a ring fixed by a jeweler outside of Houston, and they would replace earth mine diamonds with lab-grown diamonds. And the problem, and not disclose it. So I have a really hard time with disclosure because we are so transparent, open book. If somebody brings in diamonds, we're gonna test your diamond in front of you. It like lights up and it says earth mine lab grown. It's like this really high end tester, and we've got multiple testers actually for different diamonds. You can verify. But the problem with the lab grown diamonds, I would say, is that it's like cubic zirconia. They were a big fad, and then they tanked the value. So what concerns me is that when people are spending crazy amounts of money on them, the ROI, or the return on their investment, is not holding up. And they keep, it takes 2 hours to make a 4-carat lab grown. 2 hours. That's it. So it's kind of, there's a place for it, but as far as investment, I would not recommend that.
Well, and I think at the end of the day, like I said, if it's within your budget, it makes you feel happy, that's great. But
true,
but at the same time, I agree with you. I agree with you. I think we've talked about this before. There's just something about something that was actually grown in the earth, that you're getting, and just like all these other beautiful stones, there's like a story behind them that makes them, I think, kind of unique.
True. Very, very true. Yep.
But you do you. If you like,
completely. There is a place for it. Just not an investment. Not as an investment.
I would agree.
All day long, yes. But
I would agree.
I don't do them, but I think there's definitely a great place.
Do you think that long term, there being so many on that is going to change the value of mine-grown diamonds?
It's a really good question. It's a really, really good question. Truth is I don't know for sure. But I will say anything that is truly authentic, like an Hermes bag or a Chanel bag. I mean, if it's authentic and it is identifiably authentic, they always end up keep going up in value, because you cannot. There's a scarcity issue. You can't just like go outside and dig in your yard and find a diamond. So there's something special about it, because you can't just go make it. So I do think, I do genuinely believe that over time, the fad will kind of like even out and everything will relax and things will continue, because it's a scarce commodity. Over time will keep on going up like it has over the decades, over the centuries.
I agree with that. Sometimes you just have to give it time and see how things go with it.
True.
So you've done so much with jewelry. Have you taken up the mantle in designing other things outside of jewelry?
I'm a little ADD, so yes. I have. I've designed a Cayman alligator handbag collection, and out of Colombia, and it was really fun.
Yeah,
I had a great photo. I had a blast doing it. I had gorgeous bags from it, but the production in Colombia was like, meeting up with if stores said by January I need it delivered, and they were coming in May. It wasn't working. So before it really even got started, I realized that production was too much of an issue. So I kind of stopped it. But I've also, I've developed a skincare line with a great team, and a CBD line, because we have a ranch in the whole country and we were bored in COVID. Bored
what can we make with this
growth
CBD?
of creativity. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so we have like sleep gummies, daytime gummies, like the salve, you know, I even put it on today. My neck was like
I've used your salve. It's really good.
It's really good. We were like, we got into the UT bookstore in Austin because literally like they tried 7 different ones, 7 different like salves for pain, and ours was the only one that worked. And it's all organic. Like I'm very big into health because I'm allergic to everything, like literally everything. So like everything in our products was like really created for me because I couldn't find things that I wanted. So that was it.
I wasn't surprised when, obviously I've known you, but I did a little more research today. I wasn't surprised to know that you've done all these other things because I tend to find that people are creative. Yeah. It's rarely limited to one thing. Like you're generally going to be creative in a lot of different ways. And so, but it's nice because then it gives you all these different outlets, right?
True. Yeah, and you don't get bored, and it's kind of I don't like being bored.
So let's say someone would bring in a piece and they want to make it like remaking a piece with you. Are you the only person they work with, or like who all is involved when it comes to like designing a piece of jewelry, I guess?
It really, a lot of times, like I'll have a client come in with a lot of sentimental pieces of jewelry that they're not wearing. They're out of date, out of style. It was their grandmother's. They're, you know, a lot of different stories behind it. So it starts with a consult with myself and the client, and my job is to listen. And I mean, I have to really, really listen because everybody has a different pieces of jewelry make different people happy, right? And they're different for everybody. So I really my job is to like really pull out and hear their story and like feel like what they love, what they like in jewelry, where their holes are. Because a lot of time, like if you have, you know, 100 pair of earrings, and like no necklaces, we might need to focus on finishing out the collection kind of thing. But we do have a team here in Houston that is just absolutely incredible. And like everybody who comes here is going to meet Rachel and Sandra. I love my team. I really have the best team. I'm like so fortunate. I feel so blessed to have the best team here. And then we have more team. Everything is done here in Houston. So, yeah.
Well, and those of you who've been listening along for, you've heard me say that same type of thing, is how much I love my team. And it's because even though we're in different professions, we're all creative. We're all creative, and we all want to make people feel beautiful, right?
Yes, that's both of our jobs.
And so the whole point is that you have to surround yourself with strong, and in our case, strong women who really just like help bring that experience so that someone comes in. And I can tell you the first time I came in here, I wasn't sure what to expect, and my gosh, Jill just has this glowing personality, and of course left with stuff because I just felt so great, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want this, I need this here.
Well, she wears it well, so I mean there is that,
and it's become part of my staple. I wear this in the operating room. So
I think that is so cool because you have that like sentimental part with. I love that. I think that's so cool.
I think I came from culturally from a family where jewelry is a very big part of who we are. It's part of how we express ourselves, and it's something that we pass on. So for me, jewelry's always been more than just, oh, it's pretty. It has something more special. I've got great grandmother's things that make me feel really special, and things that I might be bringing in to update because it is sitting in a closet, right now.
But the best part about what you just said is like, you have these memories with your grandmother that, like, for example, your grandmother that you love and you adore, and you have these beautiful memories. But you get to bring them in, and like you don't lose that sentimental value, but you get to make it new and fresh and like you.
I know.
So it like keeps going on.
So it still has that value to it.
Totally.
You mentioned earlier that you're GIA certified. Can you explain what that means?
Okay, it's a lot of hours, lots of training. I'm an accredited jewelry professional. I've taken color, gemstones, diamonds, like a whole array of classes, and I keep studying because I feel like no one can take away your knowledge. You can't learn enough. And so I'm very, very big on like learning more, and that has really been huge, and keeping up with the markets, because the markets are constantly changing. There's new, there's fresh, there's innovative, and there's so much to learn. And because I'm more known for the color gemstones, there's a lot to keep up with. I mean, diamonds too. Don't get me wrong, a lot of diamonds, but I don't want to get stuck in like, I like the full gamut, like all the colors of it.
Do you have a particular favorite?
Gemstone?
She's like, don't ask me to pick.
It's like your favorite child. I say, when people ask me who my favorite child is, it's whoever's being the nicest to me.
Yeah.
So I can't say that for gemstones. Like, that's not going to work. I love Paraíba tourmalines. So that is like, so I will say like the necklace I'm wearing, like this is an opal, and then right up here is the Windex Paraíba tourmaline. So it's from Brazil. The mine's depleted. I love it. It has this like kryptonite glowy. It has magnesium, copper, gold in the tourmaline that gives it that glowy, otherworldly like life to it. And so I've always been passionate about that. Peruvian opals, but the real pretty like glowy Peruvian opals. I mean, I love the gemstones. Yeah. I love them. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you guys can hear like how much like joy it brings you to like be able to create these things. And trust me, there's a lot of joy with wearing them as well. If somebody wanted to reach out and find you, what's the best way for them to find you?
Well, we do have a Tootsie's Truck Show coming up April 22nd and 23rd here in Houston, Texas. So if you get a chance to stop by, please come stop by. We are appointment only. So if you can reach out on maybe Instagram, you can message on Instagram or go to our website, jillrenocollection.com, or Jill Reno on Instagram or Facebook, social media. But yeah, we're appointment only. It's definitely like a one-on-one experience with our team. So yeah.
Trust me, she does not disappoint because she somehow finds that perfect piece for you.
That's true.
And I am super excited to be able to say that we're working on a fun little project as well.
Yay.
So I think I took her a little out of her comfort zone, and we are going to be doing some medical line of jewelry. So stay tuned for that. I'm really excited about it.
It is like
it's next level because look
totally.
who I have. Look who I have working with.
Yeah, it is definitely next level, but I have a feeling like, okay, the surgeons are going to want this, but like we're going to want this too.
It's actually pretty cute. It's
cool.
Really pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much, Jill, for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
This was amazing. Please check her out. She's a beautiful Instagram too, where you see all of her pieces. It is worth making the appointment to come in yourself to see her as well. But definitely check out the trunk show at Tootsie's. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Confidence Doc podcast. Tune in next week. We'll be returning back to a little more medical programming, but remember, confidence comes from all different places, and it comes from beauty that starts from within.